The arrest of Jose Antonio Ibarra triggered more than just a criminal trial. It sparked a nationwide reckoning. For many Americans, the brutal murder of Laken Riley wasn't just a tragedy, it was a call to action. Television anchors, podcast hosts, and political pundits debated the implications of Ibarra's illegal entry and continued presence in the country. Had the system failed Laken? Could her life have been saved if stricter immigration enforcement had been in place? These questions echoed through Congress halls and dinner tables alike. As emotions ran high, the legal process began to move forward. Ibarra waived his right to a trial by jury, instead opting for a bench trial, a move that stunned many. It meant that a judge and not 12 of his peers would decide his fate. The prosecution, led by experienced attorneys, prepared a damning case built on forensic evidence, surveillance footage, and witness testimony. The defense offered little in the way of denial. The facts were too clear, too damning. The trial commenced on November 15, 2024. The courtroom was silent as the prosecution laid out the events of February 22nd in brutal detail. They played the 911 recording. The chilling silence of that call echoed through the room. They showed maps, timelines, and presented physical evidence. DNA beneath Laken's fingernails, traces of her blood on Ibarra's clothing, his fingerprint on her phone, and footage of him moving suspiciously near the park before and after the time of the murder. Witnesses were brought in, including forensics experts, police investigators, and park employees who had seen Ibarra in the area. The portrait they painted was horrifying and irrefutable. It became evident that Ibarra had stalked the area. For potential victims, Laken just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Her murder wasn't just a random act of violence. It was cold, deliberate, and premeditated. Laken's family sat in the front row of the courtroom every single day. Her mother's eyes never left the judge. Her father gripped her hand tightly. Her younger sister wept silently. The media captured these moments, broadcasting them across the nation. America watched not only a trial, it watched a family endure the unimaginable. On November 20th, just 5 days after the trial began, the judge delivered the verdict. Jose Antonio Ibarra was found guilty on all counts: malice murder, felony murder, kidnapping, aggravated assault, and attempt to commit rape. The courtroom held its breath as the judge sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. It was the justice system's answer to an unthinkable crime. Yet no sentence could bring Laken back. Outside the courthouse, crowds gathered holding signs with Laken's name. Some bore candles. Others wore T-shirts that read "Run for Laken" in remembrance of the bright young woman who lost her life while doing something as innocent as going for a jog. Her memory was alive, but her absence was overwhelming. In the aftermath of the trial, the political conversation that had been simmering now erupted into a firestorm. Conservative lawmakers, led by representatives from Georgia and Texas, introduced what would come to be known as the Laken Riley Act. The proposed legislation demanded that local and federal authorities detain undocumented immigrants arrested for certain crimes. The message was clear: tragedies like Laken's should never be allowed to happen again. The bill passed through the House of Representatives amid passionate debate. Supporters hailed it as a necessary step toward public safety. Critics called it reactionary and warned it could lead to racial profiling and civil rights violations. But in early 2025, the act was signed into law, permanently linking Laken Riley's name with a national policy change. Her life and her death had changed the law of the land. While the country argued over policies and borders, Laken's family focused on honoring her memory. On March 1st, 2024, a funeral service was held at Woodstock City Church, attended by over 1,000 mourners. Friends from high school, sorority sisters, professors, and complete strangers came to pay their respects. They spoke of her laughter, her compassion, her dreams of becoming a nurse and helping others. In her short 22 years, Laken had made a lasting impact.